everyone, Caleb here, Pro Touring Concepts. Now, for those of you who didn't come out to the Norworld Open Day and didn't see this beast, this is what this video is for, because actually thanks for everyone coming out and saying g'day, because I bet this video is going to go up probably in a week's time after the show. So anyway, this is the biggest single cab 79 series build that we have done. Actually, we've done a couple, but not to this level before. Repeat customer, Ashley, mate, you're an absolute legend. Thank you again. We did a 200 series wagon, 200 Sahara a few years ago. We wrapped it in Sandy Taupe. So following on with the Sandy Taupe sort of theme, Ashley managed to find one of the last pre-facelift V8 Land Cruisers and sort of dished out to the Pro Touring team, just make it filthy, do whatever you want to do to it. So we pretty much did that. We've gone with J-Max Super Chassis, a 4495 Super Chassis, which gives it a 300mm chassis extension. Yes, you can still do that on a single cab. The chassis is available for both the dual cab and the single cab. This gives it a 4.5 ton GVM, and because we've got an automatic paired to this, it's a 4.5 ton tow. So almost a 9 ton combined mass. We've got, on the front, it's also sitting on a 4-inch lift, so 4-inch suspension lift, J-Max Alphas, the manual adjust, not electric. Ashley is planning to take this bush and for a long period of time and just has a fear of gadgets and smarts. I had to convince him real hard to go with the automatic. So yeah, manual adjust Alphas, he just wanted to be able to set it and forget and not have to think about the shocks anymore. 35-inch Toyo RT all-terrain tyres, they're like a 50-50 hybrid. Pretty nice tyre actually, they handle really well. We don't do many Toyos, but we hear a lot of good things about them. Used to run the MTs back in the day and got good mileage out of them. Dakar Super Zeros, the Evo Course Dakar Super Zeros, they're a 2-ton rating. They're a 17x9 in a neg 12. We do quite a lot of them for our 79 series builds, as you've seen in the past. Nothing but the best. The ATD bar work on the front, twin tube side rails with the short steps in our Pro Touring powder coat. Looks freaking amazing, doesn't it? This whole car, all the color combos work, the chrome on the sandy and the black, it's just mint. We've also got the upgraded J-Max brake calipers as well, so you can sort of see the blue shining through the rim. Now, given that we have run with a 300mm extension on the Super Chassis, we are able to incorporate a longer than usual tray deck and a full-size canopy. So that is a 2200 canopy. That's the same size canopy that you can put on a normal single cab cruiser, but we've got this added length tray deck here, meaning the tyres or whatever you want can still rest on the back there. It does position the weight a little bit more in front of the axle compared to a standard single cab. Not that the standard single cabs are too bad, but this chassis handles this weight incredibly well. It's been a pretty big call, but I've said it to a few times now. This single cab cruiser would be probably close to being up the top of the list in terms of 70 series builds that we've done. I personally absolutely love it. It drives amazingly good. It's a basic tune, it's a tow tune in it. We've paired up with the 8-speed boys for this particular conversion, and we're totally wrapped with it so far. We've only done basic tuning. It's sort of self-learning. It's working well within its parameters at the moment. And yeah, we haven't done many Ks on it. We've done about 100 Ks on the auto, and so far so good. It is very smooth, very responsive. You can feel the clutch plates working and doing what they need to do. It doesn't seem like it's overly stressed. The transition between gears is incredibly smooth and efficient. Like, it just sort of knows exactly what gear it needs to be in at whatever given time. And especially when it's loaded. Like, this is a heavy car. It's around the 3.5, 3.6 ton mark. And on 35-inch tires. So this is still currently on 3.9 diff gears. Now, we will probably look at changing this to 4.3s. 4.3s or 4.5s, but I'd say we'll probably end up going with the 4.3s. It is actually perfectly fine on 3.9s. It drives really well. It's just, it comes down to, again, one's budget. If you really think, if you've got the budget to spend on it, the 4.3 diff gears will be a benefit. So We will probably put the 4.3s in it, given that this is just the beginning. Like Ashley's about to chuck a whole heap more stuff in here. We have three fridges. We have 300 amp of lithium, a big red arc system, Manager 30, a BCDC. We've got a 75 litre dual zone CFX Dometic. We've also got a 45 litre CFX Dometic in the back, and we've got a Bushman Roadie in the cab, which we'll show you some pans of that. It is absolutely mental. So we've got plenty of lithium power. We've also got 300 watts of solar up on top of the roof tent, which makes me want to talk about. That's the Boss RT1 Overlander roof tent. Absolute pinnacle of roof tents here in Australia. That one comes in at around the 105 kilo mark. We've also bolted on the Boss awning on the side of that. So you sort of got around 135, 140 kilos up on the roof. It is a fair bit of weight to consider when building a car. And we're pretty on to actually making you guys aware of, if you want to chuck a roof tent on your car, what car it is, if it can handle it, if you plan on having that, and then chucking, you know, a 300 to 400 kilo bull weight van on the back as well, what it's going to do to your axles, what it's going to do to your GBM, that sort of stuff. But this is a solo traveling car, hunting, fishing, just bloke trips. We've all had a cork over it in the shed. It's absolutely mental. It's freaking awesome. So, yeah, look, I can quickly run you through inside before we've done, and I'll pop the canopy door up. You can see it's got our usual bits and pieces inside here, the full carpet insulation pack, large size drawer. So this is a deluxe canopy pack from Norweld. This is a standard layout. Anyone can buy this. Sorry, bloody mozzies are in my eyes. We're not in our usual spot. It's a spur of the moment video for this one. We're heading off to Newcastle tomorrow morning, and we thought we'd better get a really cool video in on this car before we go. So we've got a couple of shelves up here. We've also done up on the roof rack, we've done a Starlink conversion as well. So Gen 2 Starlink, cut it down. We've used the Outback comms kit to pair that up. We've done a few of them now. Really cool kit. For anyone out there wondering whether to do it or not, the Outback comms kit is a really good kit. It's good instructions. It's easy to assemble, wire up. We've gone with the optional IP rated external Wi-Fi router, booster router. So you've got like a 200 meter range from that thing walking around your campsite. It's absolutely mental. Yeah, all the goodies inside, all the red arc stuff. We've got the 2001 inverter, BMS, Red Vision Rogue unit, the two fridges in the back, all of our normal, our lighting. The canopy system powers the lighting on the roof rack as well, and the Starlink system. But a pretty big energy saver is converting the Starlink unit to 12 volt instead of running off the inverter 240 volt power. As a lot of you would be aware, the Starlink on 240 volt does chew a fair bit of power just sitting there in idle. An inverter will use a few amps just in idle anyway, so chuck the Starlink onto that and you're running around 5 to 6 amps. So converting it to 12 volt does save a fair bit of power, and you're going to get better range and connection out of the Outback comms router as well. So I'm going to pop this door open, mate, and excuse the dirty floor mat, but we've gone to town in here. Standard Pro Touring way, we just rip everything out pretty much, throw everything out, replace all the door cards, sound deadening in here. We've gone with a Helix sound system paired with the Kenwood 10-inch floating screen. Nothing crazy. He didn't want a big banging sound system, so there's no sub and amp. The speakers are running off the head unit and it sounds extremely crisp. Like, it's because it is a small room, a small area, it cranks. It sounds really good. We've got some Recaro Expert M's for the black duck covers, the Department of the Interior floor console matched up with the 8-speed shifter and the Bushman Roadie fridge freezer. Slimline roof console from Department as well. We've got a normal Safety Dave high def 4-channel screen. So we've got 2 cameras at the back of the car and 2 channels on the tow bar as well, in case he doesn't want to tow and has a van with 2 channels on the back of it. We've got powerfold clear views, we've got spotties, we've got LED light bars up here. We've got the Oricom tyre pressure gauge system, which basically measures tyre pressures from your car and has the ability to measure the caravan or boat, whatever you're towing as well. I use those in my personal cars too, and they're freaking awesome. Solar powered, so when you're driving, it just charges up solar and just shows you your pressures, live pressures as you're going. And it's quite critical actually if you're doing big trips with a heavy loaded car to see what your tyre pressures are doing. You can understand if they're underinflated or overinflated. You can watch your temperatures increase a lot if they're underinflated. So it's just something they're a good thing. I can really vouch for those Oricom tyre TPMS units. This is sort of, you don't have to do all this stuff to a 17 series by all means. One stone armrests, all this stuff does make this car a very comfortable place to be. And there's just something about driving a cruiser with all these creature comforts, the 70 series especially, it just makes you feel like you just want to hit the road and keep going. That was the goal with Ashley's single cab, was just to turn it into an absolute beast. Incredible GVM, incredible payload capacity. This still has about a ton of payload even with all this on it. So drivability, we're getting around the 18 litres per 100k at the moment. We're about to send it all the way down to Newcastle on the highway. We're going to try and get some fuel figures on the way down and back to sort of see how it goes with the 8-speed and the 35s. Yeah, we've got Brown Davis long range tank at the back. We've also got a mid tank for the single cab. Don't quote me, I think it's like 80 litres at the front and 180 at the back. It might be like 260 litres, I'm pretty sure. Stock all the ATD bar work, the DPU package. So we did send this up to the boys at DPU post 8-speed install. So once 8-speed was installed, the boys at DPU did their magic, put the tow tune and it ran up on the dyno. Extremely happy with the results. So anyway, any questions on this single cab beast, hit us up below, send us an email. We'll get back to you. Cheers guys.